Welcome to the RGVSports.com football chat. This is already week 9, and we're just going to jump right into it. Recording this Wednesday afternoon, a few hours after the big decision for Ed Couch Elsa. In case you missed it, State Executive Committee gave Ed Couch 3 years probation, suspended Joe Solis for the season, forced them to forfeit their non-district games, but reinstated them, I guess, for eligibility into the playoffs. And know the opinions were pretty strong on the verdict. Dave, what were your thoughts on what the SEC did today?
Well, I think they did what I'd hoped the DEC would have done several weeks ago, was punish the coach and not the kids. This thing was out of their hands. If they were forced to practice, beyond the rules, they had to abide by their coach, and that's the coach's fault. I don't think the kids should have been penalized for it. Obviously, Solis working beyond the rules. He definitely needs to be held accountable for it, and a suspension is warranted. I'd like to think that this would be enough for him just to not be back at Ed Couch Elsa, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, Todd, your thoughts? I saw that you tweeted afterward that you thought the UIL got this one right.
Yes, they generally. I don't think the governing bodies and the big, whatever it might be, UIL, 32-4A, DEC, NBA, NFL, NCAA. Generally, those entities do not get these kind of situations correct. But in this case, the SEC did. It's a good. I mean, it's the kids don't get punished. The kids do not walk around with UIL handbooks. They don't know, so they still get to play their season, and the coach who was responsible pays the price.
I think this also makes the 32-4A DEC look even worse than it did before.
A lot of politics involved in their decision.
A lot of politics, I would think, with that one. Also, I mean, they lost track of what this is about. It's supposed to be about the kids, right?
It's about the kids, and then they punished the thing that just didn't make any sense to me was that they were punishing them for games that hadn't been played. I could have understood if they wanted to punish them for what had happened to that point. Yeah. I get that, but to punish a team ahead of time, it was ridiculous, and I'm so glad that that was brought out to light, because that was just a ridiculous ruling by the District Executive Committee from 32-4.
It sounded vindictive and like revenge for things that may have happened, that were alleged, rumors, whatever.
The only thing that matters is what is brought to them at that point in time. Yeah. If you want to retroactively penalize them, well, that should have been brought up in years past, and if it wasn't, whose fault is that? That's the other team's fault.
If PSG Southwest or Valley View had done this exact thing, now granted they don't have the history that Ed Couch has, but would they have gotten the same suspension from the EEC that Ed Couch got? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Ed Couch has that name, and
they brought some of the stuff upon themselves.
Yeah,
both on and off the field, but they, this was obviously the DEC obviously had a.
Definitely.
Had a bone to pick here.
Yeah, they had a bone to pick, and maybe they're trying to give their schools an easier path to the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's similar to 2008 too, when Ed Couch kind of got off the hook for having a player who maybe shouldn't have been eligible, but they allowed the kids to play because they didn't want to punish the kids. And it's good to see the UIL keeping track. This is supposed to be about the kids. Now, there's a quote that came out of Austin today. Of course, Joe Solis and his lawyer and the superintendent did not talk, which I thought was a bit interesting. But
generally in our profession, if you don't talk, you got something to hide.
Right, but there was a quote from Gus Acevedo, the attorney for the Ed Couch Elsa School District. Obviously, we understand what the State Executive Committee has done and how they have ruled. We're disappointed with respect to the actions taken against Coach Solis. We felt from the very beginning there was this issue of whether these practices were truly voluntary or not, and there's not a lot of guidance within the rules. Coach Solis felt he was operating within the rules. Obviously, the state did not feel that way. We respect their decision, and we are pleased we do not have to forfeit our district games. That's important for the kids. And I find it funny that the kids are the exact last thing mentioned in that quote. It's kind of like, well, we're ticked off that Joe got in trouble, that our program on probation, but the kids. It's like through the whole thing, no one has even remembered that this is supposed to be about the kids, and it's good to see the UIL.
If he would have fallen on his sword 3 months ago,
they wouldn't have to go through this.
They probably never would have to go through this, but he's been trying to save his butt for the entire time, and he's still denying it to this day, even though all the evidence in the world is against them. The SEC ruled against them, DEC ruled against them. and he still kind of denied it.
Show some leadership, Joe.
And now not even talking. Now just kind of hiding behind his lawyer.
I just thought that quote was interesting, that the kids were the last thing mentioned. And this is what,
that's
proves that this isn't really about the kids, is it?
No, of course not.
No.
Anybody that thinks that is kidding themselves. This is being a football coach. State of Texas pays a lot of money, and it's a very coveted position. And very few coaches, in my opinion, actually do this for the kids. It's about big money, and that's
and their name and their ego
and that kind of thing. That's what,
and especially in a community like Ed Couch, Elsa, where that's pretty much it. There's nothing else that community.
And they've proven that over time that they take football a little bit. They place it a little bit high on the priority list than it should be.
Yeah, it's like that with a lot of other places.
And that's true. Ed Couch is not alone,
and they're not alone in that. Yeah. But it does slap in the face of what the priorities are, just in general. Not only at Ed Couch but elsewhere. But that's the culture that we live in, and that society in which we live in.
Who knows? Maybe we even feed that beast a little bit.
And to be honest with you, we definitely feed into that beast. It's our livelihood.
Yeah.
But if there wasn't there, I don't think we would be higher. There'd be no jobs.
No, there wouldn't be for right here.
Exactly.
Nobody cared.
Yeah, and now this leads to the elephant in the room, the big question. Is Joe Solis done at Ed Couch? I happen to think he absolutely is done. I don't know how that's going to come about, but I think he's coached his last game there. Well, I have no inside info. Just my feeling that he's done.
He should be done, but again, this type of thing is a very politicized thing, and I don't know who's on his side in the school board. And
I think there's elections coming up on Tuesday. Am I right on that?
And Tuesday might be a big day.
Let's see how those go.
Tuesday might be a big day for the future of that program, and it will be. I mean, it will be.
Yeah.
But all things considered, you'd like to think that they would just kind of part ways with him.
Remember what Gilbert Leal last year got the DUI and immediately placed on suspension and then done. He was done at that point.
That's a crime that endangered people's lives, allegedly.
True.
This is a few extra hours of practice, allegedly.
But in a situation like that, if he should have been, you could have put him on suspension.
Joe Solis showed zero leadership. He should have fallen on his sword. And now, something else I think is funny, that they're going to replace him on staff for the rest of the season with somebody from that staff who is just as culpable.
All of his maybe some of the lower level assistants you can, maybe give them
a task. But somebody you're putting in charge of the program.
His DC and his OC and some of the upper level guys, the guys who've been there for a while, they knew exactly what was going on. So what they really should do at EE is play the season out, give the kids a chance, let them do what they want, and then after this, clean house, get rid of everybody.
Good luck. Good luck doing that.
Good luck with that. Yeah,
I think if they would have done it, if they were going to make a change at Ed Couch, it would have been done 3 months ago when all this came about.
Well, you got to remember, this is the same school district that got rid of Robert Capello, really a basketball legend down here, and definitely in Ed Couch. Got rid of him and then hired him again, and then now he's not coaching there anymore.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know what to think. So we'll see what happens.
Basically, the only people that come out looking good on this are the UIL state executive committee.
Yeah, because they did what they're.
Everyone else
kind of the kids. Good for the kids.
Good for the kids.
They didn't do anything wrong, and they can still contend. Well, they have to get a break to win the district title, but they at least get to make the playoffs and have a playoff game. Their season will matter, and they'll be able to apparently keep their hopes alive for however far they.
And apparently, following on Twitter, Michael Uribe came off looking very good in front of the state executive committee. So I guess Michael Uribe and the UIL are the winners today.
Good for them.
Everyone else kind of loses.
Somebody's got to win.
Yeah,
the volleyball team looks good too.
Right, the volleyball team.
That's
Congratulations to Coach Ophelia Griffith and their
into the area round.
So there is good news out of Ed Couch also.
There is. Now moving on, something. I guess we're talking about football here. We got Bird Bowl 20.
I'm excited.
I know
Not really, but I am excited.
Well, it's sort of exciting because this is for the first time in years that this game might actually be competitive.
This is the first time in years that Harlingen and South will be favored by Vegas.
Are they really favored? You really think they're favored?
I think they're favored by.
Harris got 2.5, I think.
2.5?
Yeah. Okay.
They don't get the full 3.
No.
There's no home field. They're on the visitor's side, so you don't get that 3-point bumper.
I have a hunch about Harlingen winning this game, though. I just have that feeling because who's South played other than Brownsville Vets?
Who's Harlingen played?
Well, they've lost. Okay, Sam Benito, that loss doesn't look very good.
They lost to Johnson by a lot.
How is Johnson doing? I haven't even followed.
I haven't followed.
They lost by 30 to him. So that's not good anyway.
It can't be good either way. But I don't know. It's good to see this game competitive and good to see Harlingen South.
Who did you pick?
I have not made my pick yet. Oh, it's in the paper, but as we speak now, I have not made my pick.
Make your pick here. Who are you picking?
You know, I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going with Harlingen.
I pick South. I like South. I just like the way they're playing. I don't think Harlingen's that good this year.
I don't think South is.
And that mystique, the Harlingen mystique.
Well, that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's over.
Baloney. It never did to begin with.
I don't remember who I picked. I think I picked Harlingen.
Whatever.
Or maybe South.
But it's just
one of them is going to win.
But
so.
one of them is going to win.
You'll be right.
A Harlingen team is going to win. But I think it's just good to see Harlingen South good again, because living in that shadow of Harlingen, pretty tough to deal with. Now that they're back, really good job by Lanny Wilson. I think a candidate for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, they're getting Facebook support, so that's good.
They are getting Facebook support, from players past and present.
We'll see. The Coach of the Year train has been up and down. Look like Cotomides or Wars Lincoln, and now that train might be shifting.
I think the favorite though is Armando Cuellar.
If we're going to go that route,
if he can win an outright district title,
I think if he wins it outright, to me it's hands down. But I guess we have to actually,
unless somebody makes the state title game, which I don't think we need to count.
So if they win the state, the district title outright, it's hands. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Now, Dave, that's a quality segue. We're moving on now to the playoff scenarios. 35A, Todd, things look kind of competitive over there.
4th spot. Who thought? 2 weeks ago, it looked like it was all set.
Well, we were kind of joking about Edinburgh High getting back into it. But
I never joked about that.
Okay, fine. Dave didn't, but
they're bad. Yeah. Donna's the only. Donna needs a win, or a Wars Lincoln or Conobedes loss. Donna should be in. They have to win one more game. Somebody else has to lose.
Donna's not in. Are you sure?
I'm sure. We received some questions about that.
Todd, they're ranked number 2, and they beat Edinburgh North. I don't get this.
I guess Donna and Brownsville Pace are staying home, right?
Maybe. Donna loses their next 2 games. You don't know. But the Skins are 1 win away or 1 loss away from Conobedes or Wars Lincoln from getting in. Sherryland's in, North's in, those are clinched, and then you have that last spot. Conobedes, if they win out, they will get in.
But that's going to be tough.
That's going to be tough because they have to face Donna.
Right.
And then Wars Lincoln and Edinburgh are playing on Thursday, which is tomorrow, which will be an elimination game.
Right.
So the loser's out. Wars Lincoln can't get in at 4-4. And then you have Palmview, who's 2-4, and they face La Jolla. They should win that game. And that makes it a very interesting Week 10.
As KGB would say in Rounders, they're just hanging around,
So those 4 teams, how you shake that out, it's going to be very, very close. But we'll see how it goes.
But Edinburgh right now controls their own. Edinburgh right now.
Conobedes controls their own destiny.
But who's the favorite right now? Edinburgh probably.
Based on my projections and based on who I think is going to win all these games, I have the Bobcats at.
Who would Nate Silver project?
Nate Silver would put the odds on favor, because if Edinburgh wins their game, which I think they're going to do against Thursday against Wars Lincoln, and then Conobedes comes back in Week 10 and beats Palmview, that puts the Bobcats in.
31-5A?
I do know this. Wesco East wins, they're in.
Right.
They play PSJ Memorial on Friday. That's not a gimme game either. Memorial looked like the team I thought they were going to look like the whole season last week. And then I think the teams that are in really good shape are Wesco. They play PSJA on Friday, and that won't get them in, I don't think officially, but that virtually gets them in. And then the game between McAllen Memorial and Mac High, that's kind of a de facto elimination game. Basically, I think if Mac High wins that game, they're going to be in virtually. I say virtually because it's not mathematically possible. But for all, basically 3 losses. If you have 3 losses, you can carry 3 losses into the district. Into the playoffs, and you'll be fine. And Wesco East is 5-1, that they can't lose more than 3. McAllen High is 4-2. They dropped 2 games. They'll go 4-4, but I don't know. Wesco is also 4-2. As long as I think as long as either one of those teams win, they're going to be in. PSJ North needs to win. They play Roe. That's an elimination game for all intents and purposes. And then McAllen Memorial needs to beat Mac High, which they've really been struggling lately, and we'll see about that. I think the big spoiler here is going to be PSJ Memorial because they really have been playing so poorly until last week.
And they wake up last week.
And they wake up last week and play like the team I thought they were going to play. They got East, and then that's not going to ruin East's chances. It might ruin their chances for a district championship. And then they're going to play Mac High at the end of the season, and they could be the ultimate spoiler there. That might cost them a spot. We'll see. It all depends. If Mac High loses to Memorial, then that's going to be an interesting game.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not the one covering that district because I I'm kind of lost. I might need the primer, the Spark Notes version.
So basically, let's just play this week out, and then it'll make a little bit more
That's
sense.
what well, we were asked to do like a playoff scenario story last Sunday,
and you just hear,
and I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, no. And you just kind of
Have you seen my district?
It's just follow RGV
So
Sports
your
on
entire
Twitter,
thing is
we'll
like
get
that
it.
4th seed out of 35A. It's like, just give me another week, and I'll
Yeah,
figure
just
it
give
out.
it one more week.
One
and
more
now,
week.
Yeah.
I think one more week, and it'll be more clear.
I guess
Okay.
right now 32-5A now. I guess if Harlingen High wins,
Everybody's in except for Harlingen.
and if Harlingen High wins, then they're pretty much in.
Yeah, if they win this game, they're in. If they lose
Then
and,
they have
and Hannah wins,
then they have to beat Hannah.
Then it's a playing game in week 10.
Yeah.
And if Pace wins, they get the
and-
district championship. Is
Yeah.
that how is that it?
I'm confused. No, I'm not actually.
Pace Porter?
Pace Porter
Can
game.
we start
I'm already
alluding
looking
to that?
I'm already looking forward to that one. I'm just amped for that.
Give me
game.
the offensive defensive breakdown for that game.
Doesn't matter. And
They will both break down.
They will.
They will
Yes.
break down.
Yes. That
Well,
is.
Pace is okay. So Pace is playing bets this week. Is Pace going to score a touchdown?
No, they will not. I think if
come
they're going to
on.
score a touchdown, it comes next week. Now, just quickly, the 32-4A playoff scenario. Now that we know that Ed Couch is eligible and I think it's down to the 4th spot for all intents and purposes. Mission Veterans. There's a log jam at 2 and 3. I think Mission Vets, Valley View, and Roma. But Mission Vets has
The head-to-heads, right?
has what I think.
The head-to-heads?
Yeah, they have the head-to-heads, and they have Rio Grande City and Southwest to end the season. So they'll win out, likely make the playoffs. So your big 4 in the 32-4A would be pretty much what we expected. Now, very briefly, the top 10, just kind of obligatory reference here. Sherryland 1, Donna 2, Harlingen South and Wesco East tied for 3, Mission 5th, Edinburgh North 6, Brownsville Veterans, despite having Brownsville in their name, is top 10 at number 7.
Ouch.
McAllen High is 8th, Ed Couch Elsa, dun dun dun, number 9, and Lavia, a 1A at 10. I hear the ugh
Not
on
a fan
that.
of that.
Not a fan of that. You
Yeah.
can make an argument for them because they've won, I think, 7 or 8 straight.
They're 1A. If you're 1A, you got to be undefeated, and you better be
Just blowing everybody
You got to have
out.
an impressive win or two, and they got to be by a lot.
Well, didn't they beat Bruni or something? Weren't they good early in the year?
I don't know. They got to. I had to. No offense to Levia, they're doing really good for what they are, but
They are what they are.
It's a 1A school. It's kind of really random at that point. Teams have like 20 kids on them.
So now,
15 kids.
but now what do we do with
So-
Ed Couch in the top 10? Because they lost wins to, they now have 2 fewer wins.
We discussed this earlier.
I don't know. We haven't figured.
Well, I didn't rank them, so I'm not worried about it.
But well, I did. What I mean, do we count them as a 4-4 team or as a 6-2 team
Count them on what they did.
on the field?
You see, we're like the AP poll. You see what we see.
Yeah, but those
is
but,
what we vote
but
on.
Like Ohio State hasn't.
Well,
lost
let me ask you this: had you been ranking them prior to this week?
No, this is
Well,
my first week.
so you rank them based on what they've done lately, I would think.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
games counted. So
Yeah.
I don't think
yeah.
that's an issue at all.
If they win this week, I'll keep them in there.
yeah,
Why not?
And they probably will be playing Valley View. Valley View's not a bad team.
I would assume they would.
Valley
be
View's not a
Valley
bad team, but I think Ed Couch is on another level.
View. Yeah.
And just anything, I know we want to finish with Ed Couch. Any final thoughts, observations you didn't have about the situation?
I think we got everything out, did we?
I'm just glad it's over with.
It is nice to be over with.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. We know that they're going to be in one way or the other.
Until the next thing happens.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's Ed
And,
Couch.
and hopefully it won't. I mean, you'd like to think they've learned a lesson. But the NCAA has a phrase for this that they use.
Repeat violator?
No, it's called lack of institutional
Oh, yeah.
control. And clearly, not only with the athletic program, there's a lot of things that just aren't right over there.
No.
And that's what the NCAA defines as a lack of institutional control, meaning you don't have any scene control there. The people in charge cannot control their minions, so to speak.
But they need to be,
And
a total clean out.
So how that happens, I don't know, because it's such a political process, and it's gonna depend on those who those who have the power to vote people in, vote people out. If it really makes you mad, you're going to get the people in there. But
So it's power to the people.
yeah,
We'll see what the school board elections look like.
and then we'll see on Tuesday.
Yeah, it just seems like that whole thing needs to start over.
I'm assuming the people currently looking to keep their spots on the school board are the people who have been in charge of doing this. Also, the new people running,
It just needs
are
to,
they going to change?
And
or
then
are they
then there's that too.
right. It just needs to start over.
Is
and-
anything going to change?
It
even
could be.
if
It just
people are
might be a
elected?
vicious cycle.
Yeah, it just needs a total tear down. But And once again, by the way, before we go, props to our silent, absent colleague Dennis Silva, who was out in front of the story the whole time, really was the leader on it, and did a really good job today on Wednesday, reporting everything. It was in Austin, so nice job, Dennis. And with that, we'll talk to you next week. One more week of the regular season. Thanks. Bye.